Hello everyone, Monique here, wishing you a happy full moon in Aquarius. The full moon will be here with a very big bang on Wednesday, July 29th at 10:35 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and it will be at 6 degrees of Aquarius. Now, when I was looking at the astrology of this full moon, it really seemed like a big, bold spotlight on the events that happened during July, the extraordinary events with the outer planets that took place between the 15th and the 25th and really peaked on the 20th. So I think, it's putting the spotlight on those events to help us to integrate it, particularly as we move towards the Lion's Gate, and most importantly, towards eclipse season, which begins in August. The Aquarius full moon, like all full moons, is about illumination. It's illuminating something. It's helping us to see more clearly what is beneath the surface. And with Aquarius, it's asking us to look beyond our personal life and to consider the bigger picture. There are a few questions that we can ask ourselves. We can ask, where are we ready to let go of old identities that no longer serve us? We can ask, where are we ready to think differently? Aquarius is about this innovative thinking. So where can we think differently? And most importantly, it's about asking, how can we use our unique gifts to contribute something bigger beyond ourselves? What makes this full moon, very significant is that it is aligning with Pluto. In astrology, we say it's conjunct Pluto. In other words, they're meeting up, they're going to stand right next to each other. And Pluto is the planet of transformation, it is the planet of power, and it is the planet of truth. And we don't experience the full moon meeting up with Pluto in Aquarius often. It's a rare event, it's a special event. It will add a real depth to this full moon, and it will reveal what is ready to release. Not only individually, but what needs to be let go of collectively. The full moon meeting up with Pluto will help to shine light on hidden power. There are truths that we didn't know about that will come to light. And in Aquarius, which is an air sign, it will most likely be hidden information concerning the world, the collective, humanity. I think you will see some power plays with this full moon. The full moon, and it will extend for, the next 2 weeks and beyond. I think we're going to see some power plays. And I also think we're going to see a movement to dismantle old systems. The bottom line is that it's an invitation to step into a more authentic version of ourselves, and also a more authentic version of our collective. This moon is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn is presently in Aries, and it went retrograde. Saturn in Aries went retrograde on July 26th, which I think was Monday. So it's really a good time, retrogrades are a good time to reflect. So we have a time to take a closer look at the systems in our lives. And of course, because we're talking about all these outer planets, also the collective. So retrogrades invite us to really take a beat, to kind of stop and pause. And with Saturn, it's asking us to restructure something in our approach about the topics of our Aries house. So Saturn will be in retrograde until December 10th. Saturn was in retrograde last year from July 12th to September 1st. So you can look back to that period to get some clues as to what it is that it's time to restructure. Saturn was also retrograde in Aries, I think, back in 1998. So if you're old enough, you can also go back to that time to look for clues. Look for clues as to what is time to restructure. You know, it's going to be a good time from now until December 10th to deepen our understanding about the Aries part of our chart, to release or reassess boundaries. Maybe we need to let a boundary go. Maybe we need to create a better boundary around that part of our life. And because Saturn is about learning, it's a really good time to research. And Saturn is about long-term visioning. So it's a good time to start researching any kind of long-term project or idea or goal that you have for the Aries part of your chart. On the same day, it's a very busy day, on Wednesday, we have Venus in Virgo squaring Uranus in Gemini. And what that might bring, because squares bring friction, it might bring a little tension to conversations. It might bring up challenges very quickly, conversational challenges, and it might be with people that you're close to in relationship, because Venus is about relationship. So we might have this out of the blue, disagreement or friction or tension or stressful conversations with people that are close to us. And Venus is about connection, meaningful connection. Mars in Gemini may bring up the energy of wanting to speak or debate or just to have the conversation quickly. So what I would say to you is, of course, if this happens, feel what you feel, try not to react, and look at it as an opportunity, whatever this conflict or friction or challenges, look at it as an opportunity to find a creative solution to whatever is being discussed. Sometimes this is what pushes us to, when we have a challenge, it pushes us to this kind of new way of communicating. I apologize, I'm not communicating too well right now, but it pushes us to this new way of communicating, and to really, with Gemini, I really, really encourage you to look at the conversation, if you do have something like this, with curiosity. Don't react, don't be defensive, and look at what creative solutions you can come up with to build bridges and not walls. This is Venus is very much about connecting. So we want to build this bridge. So think of that. Hopefully you will not be having one of these, challenging conversations. There's a great book called Fierce Conversations, and that's what you would need to have if you are in this conversation with this Venus in Virgo squaring Uranus in Gemini. We want to have fierce conversations. And after that, yes, again on Wednesday, there's a lot of things happening on Wednesday. We have what, a lot of people might consider one of the most beautiful energies, not only for the day, but just in general. And that is Jupiter in Leo, and Jupiter feels very nice in Leo, and it will be cazimi. So we're having a Jupiter cazimi. And the word cazimi comes from the Arabic meaning to sit in the heart of the sun. And that's just a beautiful imagery. But what happens when a planet comes into cazimi is that it is so close to the sun that it actually gets this kind of purification. And we get this beautiful expression of the planet. And Jupiter is the planet of wisdom. It's the planet of abundance. It's the planet of faith. right? It's also the planet of higher learning. And it is really being purified and illuminated by the sun. And I think it gives us an opportunity to cleanse our beliefs. And it's an opportunity to sit and receive divine guidance. And not only for the day, but for the next 12 months. It's a beautiful transit, and it lends us courage, it lends us confidence, and it lends us, this beautiful experience of growing and blooming. So think about what you've outgrown. This is a good time to cleanse it, and where you want to grow, right? Jupiter is really, again, it's this energy that is generous. It's not meant to be hoarded. It's meant to be shared, and it's meant to flow. This is what I want to say to wrap up the Jupiter cazimi, is to, during this time, to remember to receive graciously, and to give generously. So for the Jupiter cazimi, this beautiful transit, remember to receive graciously and to give generously. Let's move on to the next upcoming event. This is a really big time of the year for us, and we're moving towards eclipse season. But before we get to eclipse season, we're going to step into the Lion's Gates portal. And that takes place, or it peaks on August 8th. And for a lot of people, we look at the Lion's Gate not just as a day, but it's really this event. It's a spiritual transition. It's a spiritual tradition. And it's a meaningful moment for reflection. And it again, like Jupiter in Leo, it really espouses this bigger than life energy, and it leans into the positive expression of Leo, which is, of course, courage, creativity, confidence, the heart, what is, in our heart of hearts, and heart-centered leadership. So it's, there's a lot going on with Leo right now. There's a lot going on with Aquarius. Jupiter is in Leo. The South Node is in Leo and will be there for the next 18 months. It just shifted this week as well. So we have the Jupiter in Leo, we have the South Node in Leo, and we have the Lion's Gate on the 8th in Leo. And we also have, we're moving towards a total eclipse of, a total solar eclipse in Leo as well. So it's, the universe is really pointing us to answer one important question. And that is, how will we use our light? How will we use our light? It's not to seek recognition, right? Not with, Jupiter's in the South Node in Jupiter. It's not to seek recognition. It's not to prove our worth because we're worthy, but it's to contribute something meaningful to the world around us, right? This Aquarius full moon is leading us to this total eclipse of the sun in Leo. And I will definitely write more about the total eclipse in Leo, but I wanted to talk about it now so that we can all start preparing for it. We can all start walking towards that total eclipse. And eclipses are pattern interrupts, very big pattern interrupts. I want us to be prepared. I want us to embody that vision of courage, authenticity, and generosity of spirit. it's important for us to pay attention now. Notice what the full moon is illuminating for you, because this can be a big part of what the focus of the eclipse will be for you. As always, I want to make this information practical. So you can go to the blog. I always have rituals for you, and I also have a section that says, let's make it personal in 3 easy steps. So look at the house that is ruled by Aquarius. You can also look at the house that's ruled by Leo, because there's so much going on in your Leo house as well. And you can also look at the house that is ruled by Aries. So you have a lot to consider. As always, we talk about the degree. If your house cusp degree or any planets in your Aquarius house or Leo house is close to 6 degrees, then this will be something that you may feel more personally. If it's not, then it may be something that you see play out on the world stage, something that happens more collectively. But as I always say, if we want collective change, then that change begins with us as individuals. We don't prepare for the future by trying to control it. We don't control anything. But what we can prepare is to become our more authentic, our more grounded self, and a self that is willing to grow. And the Aquarius moon is about looking to that future that is not happening to us, but the future that we are actively and very consciously creating, not just for ourselves, but for the collective. So as we are participating in creating, it's that one choice, it's that one conversation, it's that one step courageous step that we take, right? So this is that moment for us. And so, of course, I'm always here to help you to navigate it. If you want to have a better idea, please reach out. And I hope that you will, help, that this video will help you to navigate the weeks ahead, not just tomorrow or not just the day of the full moon. So it is a big movement that we are presently standing in, and it is here to remind us that this is the time for our unique contributions to the collective. We have to be the change, and that's what it really is about. So enjoy the blog. As I said before, a lot of this information is not in the blog because there's so much going on in the cosmos now, but enjoy the information in the blog. And I again wish you a very happy full moon in Aquarius. Take care, be well, and I will see you soon.